coach Tony Bennett with us. And Coach, you're just kicking things off here. You just flew in. You're starting with us, so we're glad we got you fresh and hadn't had all the same questions yet. Your expectations for this year right now, I know we're about 30 days out and everything feels really good, but what have you seen that you liked?
Well, first it's just to get through ACC Media Day. This interview with you guys, I go one step at a time. Yeah. I like my team so far. We got to go to Italy this summer, which was an amazing experience. You guys have been on those foreign tours, taking teams, and we love that. And I do have an experienced team, and we return a lot of players, but we have more depth than last year, and I think we're improved. And I think the summer tour was important.
We actually went to Italy for our summer tour when I was a sophomore. Absolutely incredible. I just got to ask, your favorite thing you saw, team bonding moment? It was just such an incredible trip as a young guy, thinking maybe I don't get this experience again with your teammates. I think it's incredibly impactful.
Yeah, we went to Rome, Florence, and then we ended our trip, I was telling Coach, in Rapallo, Portofino, and highly recommend that. It's one of the most beautiful, the Italian Riviera. Played some good teams, but those experiences. We got to go to a soccer game, the Coliseum, the Vatican, all those things. I look at those experiences and our guys just as lifetime experiences. So they were good, and again, you get the practices, there's a lot of stuff, but I can't recommend that enough. And the food.
And celebrated your 27th anniversary.
You got, my wife.
I'll get that in now.
Yes, thank you. No, it was in Coach.
Got your back.
In Portofino, my wife and I, Laurel, celebrated our 27th anniversary. That was the last night of the trip. So I went to a cool restaurant. Here's a good tidbit. We overlooked the place where one of the Kardashians got married in Portofino. I don't know which one, but overlooked that place, that castle, and it was where I think Giorgio Armani had a place, but it's just a beautiful view. So we had a wonderful time.
Kels, can you give any context?
I knew you were coming to me. I don't know who it is.
Kourtney Kardashian.
It was probably Kourtney, because she just recently got married, but it could have been before.
I didn't think
one
I was going to talk about
I don't know. Me neither. I didn't have that on the bingo list of what we're going to talk to Tony Bennett about.
Nothing. We're talking.
Well, you talk about the pack line. I saw your quote yesterday about recruiting, and to me, winning basketball is winning basketball. Developing players is developing players. To me, how is your group adjusted to, you got a couple of new players, but that quote was a little out of character for you, going kind of.
I didn't see the quote, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It was about just how people have tried to negative recruit against your style. All your style is about winning, player development. Guys are going into the NBA, being successful on and off the court. To me, I look at you guys as a model program. Is that something you actually are dealing with, basically in the process fairly?
Yeah, I think if you're talking recruiting is just so competitive, and there's obviously some great programs, but I guess the older I get and the longer I'm in this profession, I just want to deal in truth. You sometimes have to sell certain things, but of course there's negative recruiting that goes on, and I don't pay much attention. It's like, what has your program done? And I think young men, everyone knows what they're looking for, and I always tell guys that recruiting, make your decision with your eyes and facts, what you see, not what you hear. And things can get blurred so much, but when you look at a program and where it fits you, and we may not be the best choice for some and vice versa, but is there a track record for what you're looking for? A team that wins, can you develop your game? And is there a track record for guys like you that have gone to the pros? And then all the other important stuff, the education part, the things that you're looking for. So, again, you hear stories and all that. I don't get too much carried away, but I know what our program has established and built, and I'll never apologize for it.
And nor should you.
I imagine that culture is easy to counteract there once they start that negative recruiting. You have one of the oldest or most returning teams in the entire country, bringing back so much talent. When you talk about recruiting, kind of pairing that with bringing so many guys back, how tough is it in today's age with the transfer portal to keep guys bought in and maybe don't get as much opportunity? Last year, rotation was much smaller. I've heard you thinking about getting it into 8 or 9 or 10 guys, maybe not quite Leonard Hamilton range, but to keep those guys bought in when they're not playing quite as much?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and that's kind of a moving target in today's day and age. Last year, I think we only had maybe 10 guys on scholarship. This year we have 12 guys on scholarship, and all 12 can play. 4 freshmen or first years, a very good transfer from Ohio and Ben Vanderplas, and then all those returners, and there'll be healthy competition. I think you're just truthful with them. You're trying to be good, and guys will get what they get, and then you'll address it at the end of the year. But if you have a good place and you're honest with the guys, and they can see, maybe it's not right away, but man, what's going to happen? We're going to lose 5 guys or whatever at the end of this year. There's huge opportunity the following year for these young guys, which if some of them don't play as much as they want, but you kind of operate more often than not in the now. And I think maybe 2-year increments. Before it might have been, hey, build for 3 years down the road, try to get guys into their junior, senior year. Now it's just, let's see how good we can be now, and then maybe think about that. But honesty is always the best policy with guys, and it's either enough or it's not.
Coach, when I look at somebody on your team, you have a luxury of having Kihei Clark back for another year. And the reason why I say that's important is because he's the only guy left who has won a national championship and was part of that team. How much of a luxury is it having a guy who you can pull into the office? Coach Williams used to do that to me all the time as the leader, pull me in the office to get the other guys to understand what it is and what needs to be done to be able to get back to that point. How big was that to have him back?
Yeah, like you, Kihei is a fierce competitor. Like you too, I remember that. Like you too.
I couldn't shoot, couldn't guard anyone, but I could yell a lot.
I know, but you know that, and I think that's a separator, like guys who are fierce competitors. Kihei didn't get to where he was. You look at him, his recruiting story, by not just being incredibly competitive and fierce. So it starts there, and he's learned, I remember Ty Jerome learned this, how to lead. He'll go at guys, right? Then you find that balance of, all right, I got to encourage with that balance. But him going through, his career has been amazing, and we didn't think he was coming back for his 5th year. He sort of surprised us, which is a great thing. But that experience, we've said that often, there's no substitute for guys that have been there and done it, and especially in today's atmosphere of, a lot of newness there. So him doing it, his competitiveness, his leadership, and wanting to get it right. He started at the top, and we've had real good success, but he really wants to, I think, finish the right way in all areas.
Another guy who's competitive is you, because I look at this early schedule, Coach, and we got Baylor, we got UCLA, Illinois potentially, Michigan, Florida State, and Houston early on this year. Talk about the mindset, getting yourself ready for a schedule like that. And, Houston didn't go great last year. Now you get to go get another opportunity against them. I'm thinking this has got to be one where you look at Kihei Clark and you say, thank goodness this guy's come back to lead our team through this.
Yeah, no, with Kihei and Reese, 2 kind of point guard types, that's really important. But that schedule it's a tough one and a good one. And I think it reveals so much about you. That loss at Houston, that loss at GMU, I think it actually helped us when we went into Cameron Indoor and played. It didn't help us when we went against UNC. They cracked us both times. They were, good. But I think those games are really going to show us something. And, you're in the spring, when you're a little more relaxed and you schedule, you say, this looks good, this is smart. And then you get to now and you're like, what the heck was that? In a way. Some of it you can't control, but I do think, you have a veteran team, find out. And it's all about preparing for what you're going to be as the season progresses. And last year the narrative early wasn't great on the ACC, but the league improved and it showed its worth in the NCAA tournament, and some teams maybe could have even gotten in that didn't. So these games, if you can do well, can really help. And, win or lose, you're going to grow from it. And I think that's the mindset I want our guys to have. But we'll certainly have to be ready. And you can reference rebounding when you go against Houston in your practices. You can reference all the different things.
You had a visitor. Scheduling, especially the way the NCAA is selected, I think you can't lose scheduling those games.
Yeah.
In terms of the strength of schedule and what the committee's looking at. Had a special visitor this past week. Your dad come to practice.
Yep.
Who I have incredible respect for. How much fun is it having him there? What do you get out of it, and what does he get out of it?
Yeah, he gets a lot of golf and a lot of good, things that way. No, my father's been the biggest influence, in my basketball career, having played for him and having coached with him at Washington State and at Wisconsin. And so he comes every fall for a week to 2 weeks, and again plays a lot of golf, watches most of our practices, I always let him speak to the guys, and he still is he's got so much wisdom. One of the things that drives me nuts is he'll say something to me, and I'll feel like I'm back to being a 15-year-old, and he ticks me off, and I try to no, that's not right. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, dang it, he saw it and I didn't see it, and he usually tells me I'm not doing the right stuff defensively and this and that. But what a gift. My dad's 79, my mom and dad are both there. To be able to just still share that, and I just love having him there. And we got to play 9 holes of golf on Sunday, and cherish those moments, because there's a lot of things that we think are important, but then there are those that are truly important, and that's one of them.
And your dad is a guy that's always, when I was a younger coach, and he was always a guy, whether it was a clinic or I had a chance to cross his paths, he always had time for you. And when he talked to you, you were like the most important person he was talking to, which, I'm an old guy now, but back then, that was really, really important to me.
Good.
Coach, we're talking about special relationships, and before we let you go, you mentioned Ben and getting him to transfer in, and I know that you played with Ben's father, and then his name is Bennett after you.
Not after me. No,
not after you.
I'm glad you brought
after his
that.
dad, yes. After your dad, Dick.
Yes.
So, just what does that mean? What's that relationship like? And not even with Ben, but with the whole family, to have that kind of respect for
Let's
your
get
dad.
this out of the way. We played Ohio in the NCAA tournament, and he kicked our butt. We couldn't handle him back in the COVID year. And I got a lot of built-in excuses why we weren't sharp. We were on a couple. We can go over those, but no, he played terrific. And I've known that family, Dean and Mary, his mom and dad, obviously playing with Dean. And he just was one of those guys that went to a mid-major school and just got better and better. And we always say, I went to Green Bay, good basketball knows no divisions or limits. If you're good, you're good. And you don't have to take a back seat to whatever else. And so he really developed when, he decided to transfer. If I couldn't get a guy that's named after my father, then then I should be negatively recruited against more, and I'm a weak recruiter.
You had to bring your dad in for that one, right?
But no, they had him. I think Dean named him after my father, but I just call him Ben. And really, he's got a contagious, joyful spirit. That's what I mean. Of course, his basketball, blue guy, complete. But that's a neat tie. And again, the guys with Kihei, the guys that I have on this team, there's some pretty cool bonds.
Awesome, Coach. Well, we can't wait to see. You got a lot of returners coming back. Going to be fun to see what you're able to do this year. We appreciate the time. Hope the rest of the day goes well. You're just getting started.
Can I leave now?
You're done. You're done.
Charlottesville would be good.
Coach, thanks so much.